Who says oak is boring? Right then, I asked that question a couple of months ago in a post in the community section, and I got quite a lot of answers to it. There is a thing with some wood turners where they give out that oak is boring. It depends. I will give you that plain, ordinary, run-of-the-mill red oak can be boring, but you can actually do things, play around with the grain and stuff to make it better, to make it more interesting. This is white oak, which is spalted. I think this tree was actually down about 5 or 6 years before I managed to get some of it. Right, and I got quite a bit of it. I was quite lucky. So right, what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to do a Japanese style bowl. Right, bowls as we think of them, right, are basically have curved sides and are a certain shape. Japanese style bowls are different. They either have very straight sides or they actually curve inwards, right, and there's always a foot on them. Right, it's just, I like doing these because they're something different, but it's as I said, it's a bit of fun with this one, and also it really shows off grain with the straight sides. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do, right, this piece I rough turned probably about a month ago. Whenever I put that picture up, this is the day I rough turned it, and it's been in the kiln ever since. It's been out maybe a week or so. So as I said, we're going to do a Japanese style about this, and the first thing I'm going to do with it is take that massive warp out of it. So we get on with that, and I'll be back in a second. Right then, we're basically got that warp out of the outside of it anyway. Right, so we're going to start to shape this now, and as I said, I'm looking for either flat or slightly curved in and out. Right, but the one thing I do need to do on this, definitely, because all the Japanese bowls have it, is they have a foot. So the first thing I have to do is find out where that foot's going. Trying to do is straighten those sides out. Right, there's quite a punky section in this just there. But what I'll do is I'll hit it with some sanding sealer before I take the final cut. Make sure my gouge is really sharp, and that should sort that out. Right, I'll sort out that angle there as soon as I get this straightened up. And what I'm looking at here is the warp that's here on this rim, because I want that to go straight up to the rim. So give the scales a sharpen. There's a very slight curve in that, which I do not want. So I'm just going to take that out. Now I have to decide, do I want it straight like that, or do I want to curve in slightly, or do I want like a slight kick out at the top? But I do have to square that off, just there, a little more. Yeah, that's a lot better. Now, do I want a curve in it, or do I want it straight? That punky bit actually cut quite okay. Well, it's not fantastic, but it's better than it was. Right, I'm going to give there a soak and sanding sealer to get a good cut on it. And I think I will go for straight. Right, so I'm going to stick some sanding sealer on this punky area, and I'll be back in a minute. Right then, that should have gone off. Toughened up the fibres in this. Right, I'll just do a side bevel cut just to get a nice clean cut in the side of it. Yes, that cleaned that up nicely. No, it needs to go a little bit deeper, I'd say. Yeah, there's still a little bit of tear out just there. I need to go a bit deeper with that, so I'll have to go back to a pulled cut. See if I got rid of that time. Am I through it? Nearly. Yeah, I'm through it. Okay. Now we just go back to neatening this up. Drop that a little bit. I got the side bevel in. There's a slight little bump just there, which we can't have. That is there. Okay. Got it. Yep. Nice cuts. Bring this up this way a little bit. Yep, nice and straight and a good clean cut. Now this style of Japanese bowl, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going to destroy the pronunciation on this, is called a hirigata, right? There's two types, it depends on what reference material you use. On some of them, this comes down and goes straight to the foot. And on some of them, this comes down, there's a lip, and then it goes into the foot. But the thing is, there's always a wide foot, but it also isn't straight. Let's just say it's that way. Right. The foot always tilts in like that. It's skinnier at the top, and it's wider at the bottom. So I got to do that now. Now then, the best way I can do that is actually with the skew that I use for putting tenons in for chucks. Right, this is pure scraper mode I have it in, which basically means I'm using a negative brake scraper. It just happens to have the right angle on it. There we go, there's our angle on the foot. Cut isn't too bad actually. Right, now before I sand this, I want to sort out that edge. Which is easy enough, it's just a couple of cuts. The only reason why she's sorting out this edge is to make sure that that goes up, because when I'm hollowing out the inside, I'll cut that edge again. Right then, we get the sand on that, and I'll be back in a minute. And just buffing the wax off. actually really pretty. And as I said, on these balls the foot is always large, because it seems to be the Japanese consider that the foot is part of the bowl. When we're doing bowls normally we try and hide the foot, whereas the Japanese show them because it's part of the bowl, and actually kind of makes some sense. Right, let's have a look at this. Oh, that is pretty. Yeah, I don't think oak is boring at all. Right, we'll shift the camera and get to finishing this bowl off and hollow the inside. So we'll move the camera back in a sec. Alright then, get the hollow on this. So it's pretty much a standard hollowing, apart from when we get to the rim. There's a thing I have to do. The longer bowl gouge. Right. And we'll start hollowing this. Right then, we've got the walls hollowed out, and as you can see I'm actually going quite thin for me. Right. Now when you get to down here, the angle is not as severe as on the outside. Right, it's slightly curved. Like that. Right, see the way there's a slight curve there to go down to the bottom. And now we're gonna sort the bottom out. There we go, it's the inside done. Now, the thing is, Japanese bowls, when they're here on the rim, they basically come out to nothing, right? So you gotta come back out here and bring that rim down slimmer on the rim only. Trying to make it disappear. See there, there's hardly anything there now. Now I just got to get rid of that little ridge that I've made, and then we can get the sanding. There we go. No, it's like just touched just there. Go. Right, now we get the sanding and finishing that, and then there's something you have to do with the foot as well. So I'll come back when I finish the sanding and the finishing, and then we'll tackle the foot. So back in a sec. Right, and just popping the wax off. It's nice and pretty inside too. that is pretty in there. Right, now we just flip this over and do the foot, and we'll be done. So I'll flip it over and we'll be back in a sec. Right then, we're flipped over. Now I not only need to get rid of that tenon, I also need to hollow the foot slightly, because the feet in Japanese bowls are hollowed. So we'll get on with that. Grab the smaller bowl gouge for this. Right, double check everything is tight, which it is. Speed it around 500. Right, and we'll start eating away at this. Now I need to define the hollow on this. Make sure it's inside that. Like so. And now I need to hollow that out. Scrape that with a carbide to make sure it's flat. I'm using a carbide because that's what I use as a box scraper. There we go, that's nicely flat. Yep, I have my rim, so I'm just going to hit that as well. Just to be sure. Yep. Yeah, that's nice. There's a slight little bump just there. Yeah, that's it. Right, then I'm going to take that down a little bit more now with a spindle gouge, because I can't get in there with a ball gouge, and then I'm going to sand it. Right, we'll sand that and finish the base, and then I'll take that off with a chisel and sand the middle, hand sand the middle. So I'll do that and I'll be back in a second. Right, and there we have it, a Japanese style hirigata. Again, apologies for anybody who speaks Japanese or any of my Japanese subscribers. I know there's a few of you. I am probably mispronouncing that unbelievably. Right, so as I said, there is a Japanese bow made out of boring oak, which I think is an awful generalisation that oak is boring. Right, so I'll stick some stills of it up on the end, or if it'll turn on the little turntable thing, I'll do that. If you liked the video, if you wouldn't mind clicking like, it'd be great, and I'll see you in the next one.